Call the meeting to order. Shall we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item, opportunity for questions and comments from the audience. Anybody with any questions or comments? None, we'll move on to approval of the list of checks.
You have three large checks, which account for most of what your motion is going to be. I just wanted to hit on them for you. So there, in your checklist, there's a payment of $233,000 for the paving of the Deep Meadow Park parking lot. There's a check for $500,000 to the Miracle Field organization, and there's a check for approximately $609,000. Which goes towards Blair Mill Road Phase 2 construction.
I move to approve the list of checks and all funds in the amount of $1,883,520.63, and further move to authorize payment of the same.
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Next, we have some ZHB applications. Mr. Walker.
You have three tonight. All three are residential. On one for that one. The first one is 301 Meeting House Road. Trying to pull up here. There we go. So this is kind of unique. This happened decades ago, but this is. Let me get my pointer here. Is anything not working? Okay. So we'll go the old-fashioned way. So this is Meeting House Road. This is Upland Avenue. This is the parking lot for the school district administration building. So the property we're talking about is right here. It looks like a single-family home, but it is actually a twin. So there's two homes here. You see a fence that goes back, and then a detached garage. Believe it or not, this garage, one half of it goes to this property owner, and one half of it goes to this property owner. How it came to be, I have no idea. It's been there for decades. So we do not know how it came to be. But the one property owner wants to knock down their side, which is this side of the garage. And in order for them to do it, number one, two, we're here for zoning. We're not here for construction code. So I do not know if they can actually do that per the construction code. That's a building permit application process and construction code, which I'm not that intimately familiar with, but I think it'd be tough to do. But again, we're here for zoning. And in order for them to, if they are able to do it, they would need 3 variances. One for building coverage. They're allowed 20% in this zoning district, and they are at 21.2%. The project would go to 25.7% of building coverage if they're allowed to enlarge their half of the garage. Also, lot coverage, they are allowed 50%. They are at 48.1%. They would go to 52.7% if they were allowed to build their garage. The third is front yard setback. As you know, this is a corner lot, so they have 2 front yards. They would, if they enlarge what they want to do on this, they would be 7 feet from Upland Avenue. So this neighborhood is a very dense neighborhood. It was built a long, long time ago, and it has flooding issues. As you know, we've had lots of flooding issues in this neighborhood. It's the Pennypack Creek watershed, and that's what they would like to do. I don't know if anyone has any questions. Sorry, I do not have their. This is what we were given, so I don't have their construction plans, but I don't know if anyone has any questions.
To me, all of it seems like a problem. Does staff have a recommendation on this one?
The staff recommendation on this one would to be opposed by letter to the zoning hearing board with the positions of why not. And we can, myself and the solicitor can work through them, but I don't think they show the hardship for them needing to do what they want to do. We have flooding issues in the neighborhood, and just the improvement that they want to do is more of a detriment to the entire neighborhood than an improvement. That's the staff's recommendation.
Well, along with the other things, I struggle with that building being 7 feet from Upland Avenue. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that stands out for me. So, I don't know if anybody else has any comments, but I'm opposed.
And I know you mentioned we don't have the construction plan. Would the new structure still be attached to the existing structure? Or would they then have a separate garage?
They want to keep it attached.
They want to keep it attached to the existing
So
other half.
How you do how the other half doesn't come down when you knock down half of it, I don't know. It's very old.
So it would also be significantly larger.
Yes.
with-
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so what's everybody think?
Follow the township recommendation, township staff
Staff,
recommendation
yeah.
of being opposed.
Yeah, okay, so then we'll be opposed and we'll send a letter to the zoning hearing board.
Okay.
All right, what's the next one?
The next one. Sorry. The next one is 1026 Limekill Pike, and their attorney, Kristen Pianzio, is here representing. And let me pull up. I got several maps. Pointer. There you go. I'll let her, instead of you hearing it twice, I'll just let Kristen present the plan.
Good evening, Kristen Pianzio from Hamburg, Rubin, Mullen, Maxwell, and Lupin. I'm here with Tim Woodrow, our engineer, and Ernie Stefkovic. He's the owner of this property at 1026 Limekiln. You probably know this property. Both of these structures along Limekiln are landmarks. The big barn sits along the frontage here, and here's the existing house. There's a pool.
Do you want me to put the aerial on?
We'll
Not
get
yet?
to the aerial if we need
Okay.
it. Let me just see if we can roll through. So, Ernie is here. He's owned this property, raised his family for 24 years. He's ready to downsize. So he'd like to subdivide 2 lots to the rear of the existing house lot in order for him to do that. He's trying to entice either offspring or some relative to live on the other lots or even move into the main house. We'll see how that goes. We came to staff. This property is 6.2 acres. It's a 1 acre zoning. It could theoretically be subdivided into 4 lots if we tore down the existing improvements. We don't want to do that. So we came up with this design, which goes with the configuration of the property. We have along here, there is a sanitary sewer easement. We have the transcontinental pipeline, which is in this portion of the property. As you can see, it's oddly shaped. It goes out and then it jets back, and it does this little weird wiggle in the back. And then along the frontage, you know, these existing structures sit right on or in the right-of-way area. So we have sewer easement along the side, transcontinental pipeline. Park Creek is here. This is township land on this side of the property. Along the back, not on our property, but just off it, is another sanitary sewer easement. So our first try at this yielded an impervious coverage of about 34%, and we were instructed way too much, try again. So what we did was we changed the sizes of lots 2 and 3, made them smaller, added more space to lot 1, and then we're removing 7,205 square feet of impervious from lot 1. We're utilizing the existing driveway, as you can see, to do a little private street here, but this driveway comes down and there's a lot of parking area here that we're going to get rid of in order to reduce the impervious coverage. So we got it down to 22.7%. So we're 2.7% over. Tim tells me that he can handle the stormwater management necessary for that additional 2.7%. Everything else is more than what's necessary under your zoning code. The lots are bigger than they need to be, and we ask that you remain neutral and let us go to the board and make our pitch.
You talked about a road. Is that a road or is that a shared driveway?
It would be a private road.
And it'll be officially a private road when it's all said and done?
We would not go to the township, correct? Yes.
We've been through this before.
And I know the answer. It is going to remain private, not to be dedicated. Now, if we are successful in front of the zoning hearing board, we would come back to you folks because we have to go through subdivision and land development. So you would see us again.
Oh, there's a. I'm like looking at it on Google Maps on my phone too.
Oh.
There's like a. Is that? Oh yeah, that like little building thing in the middle. What is that? And is that
This here?
saying? Yeah.
So I sent these aerials in case you had questions about the property. What is that, Ernie?
That's just a shed. You see, I used to have horses back there. I no longer have the horses
Okay.
back there. Yeah, it's just a barn.
Then well, is that gonna stay or is that gonna come down because the road's there?
It'll come out.
Okay, I just wasn't sure. I'm just curious. Okay.
Anybody else?
I believe you spoke to reclaiming some of the impervious that currently exists to make it fit within that lot. What would be going? I'm assuming some of that blacktop, but I could be wrong. I don't want to assume.
Tim, you want to do that one? Why don't you get on the mic? So.
I would love to.
Thank you.
So, yeah, obviously, as Kristen pointed out, we've originally tried to maximize the size of the two building lots that would be future home sites. When we did that, we minimized the size of the lot that captured the existing improvements, and that generated a pretty high impervious cover number. So by giving more land to the lot with the existing improvements and taking out much of that driveway, if you can see, as you come in off of Limekiln Pike, you go behind the barn, out by the house, out by the pool. There's a lot of paving and driveway back there that probably isn't necessary, especially if we're going to build a new private road to access the other two lots. So circulation isn't quite as important to gain with that turnaround. So we're removing much of that impervious cover and then bringing, again, as Kristen pointed out, 2.2% over otherwise maximum impervious cover ratio.
And just trying to match the two images in my brain. The proposed road would be to the left of what I'm assuming are the horse and
Kind of right through that area.
Right through that,
So
okay.
we're going to save that existing driveway location. We think it's a pretty good spot from a sight distance perspective and from a drainage perspective. And we come almost straight back with that proposed extension of the driveway to serve the other two lots. And so the drive would probably go through right where that horse barn exists today, kind of in that area.
And then the land to the left, is that part of each property? I'd have to go back to the,
To be
File.
determined, Ellen.
Okay.
We'll come through the subdivision process. It certainly could be part of that private drive. It could be attached to other adjacent parcels. I think there's a lot of discussion that can take place if we are successful at the zoning hearing.
We do have it as offered to the township. You do own this park. If you go to the aerial, the township
Right.
parkland goes way back, starts here. Yeah, the other aerial, where I zoomed back a little more, Bill, shows the township park on the other side of Park Creek.
Whoops, that's all I got.
Oh, I sent a second one. Did you get that one? All right, so this land here is where the transcontinental pipeline is now.
I see.
And we have the Pico Trail here. So the township doesn't own any fee simple land connecting here. So we thought we would talk during the subdivision and land development process whether or not the township would like to have that in fee so that you would then have a connection to your trail system leading to the township park from
I see.
Limekiln.
And because of the pipeline, that can't be somewhere to plant replacement trees that would be coming down from other spots in the property because it's pipeline. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And it would be we can't do sidewalks along this stretch of Limekiln Pike because the house and the existing house and the barn, I guess is what you call it, is right on the road. So you'd have to knock down both to put a sidewalk in. So in sort of in exchange, I think the open space can right now there's no plans for it, but I think it's important to us that we protect Park Creek and the riparian corridor and that environmental resource. But also, it might lend opportunity in the future. None of us have a crystal ball of what the future has in store, but it could be a trail link from the Power Line Trail out to Limekill Pike, maybe to McKean Road. We have the well house there, the Water and Sewer Authority, so we have some flexibility there. But I think it's nowadays unusual that land gets donated or given to the township. So it's 1.62 acres that I think that should be a condition of if you a recommended condition to the zoning hearing board that open space is granted to the township if you go through the whole process and get land development approval.
And Bill, sorry, I don't know, where is the well house for the Water Sewer Authority?
Is it this one or this one? This one?
Sorry, it's not.
I have your pointer, sorry. It's
That's
this
okay.
one.
Water Sewer Authority? I thought that was another house. Okay.
It's a well house, a house nonetheless.
That's the one recently, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, improved, sits way up high above the floodplain. If you go by, it looks like a house at the shore.
Did we add PFOA filters or PFOS filters to that
Everywhere.
building?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's so big, yeah, I remember that one.
On your other aerial view, we do have it in our packet. I'm looking at
Okay.
that one. I see the red dotted line says it's the FEMA floodway.
Oh.
Is the solid line where the floodplain ends?
Could you go to the plan?
That's probably correct. I think we differentiated between floodway and floodplain fringe. So, to your point, floodway, the area adjacent to Park Creek where the highest intensity of flows would be, and then overland top of bank floodplain is here.
Okay, so the two additional dwellings are completely outside of the floodplain.
That
then
is
as well.
correct.
Okay. Just in case they get sold at some point,
Any more comments? Yes, no?
Just that after looking at Sean's screen, we should use Apple Maps for all of our displays of places.
It does help.
Really does.
Anything without Google Maps.
Is there anybody opposed to this?
Apple.
Okay, so good luck and thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Have a good night.
You too.
Apple Maps?
Apple.
I'll try.
Oh, thanks.
Well,
The next one is 926 Limekill Pike. Trying to pull it up here. Here we go. So this application, they would like to construct what they are referring to in their application as an in-law suite. We do not consider it an in-law suite. What they would like, they have a single-family home as you see it on the, let's see if this is working yet. No. Okay. So this is the single-family home. This garage does not exist anymore. This actually caught fire and burned down a couple years ago. So this is a single-family home. What they would like to do, what they're calling an in-law suite, is here, and it is what they're proposing is a 2-story, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, full kitchen, dining room, and living room with a 3-car garage, and they're calling it an in-law suite. Our staff disagrees with that. We are calling it a twin dwelling, as they show it on their plan. And twin dwellings are not allowed in this zoning district. It's R2 for single-family homes only. So they would be creating a twin dwelling when it's only allowed a single-family dwelling. So that would be the variance that they would need from the zoning hearing board.
so how would we proceed if we were opposed to this?
If council would be opposed, and that, by the way, is the staff recommendation, is to be opposed by letter. I don't know if we said that the first one too, but this would be by letter to the zoning hearing board that you're opposed to this application.
And in that letter, we'd be explaining the logic that we consider it as a twin rather than an in-law suite.
Yes.
Anybody have any comments, questions, difference of opinion?
Follow staff.
Okay, so we'll be opposed to that one. Thank you. All right, next we need to review the subdivision for Francis J. Ambrose Sr., 407 Hallowell Avenue.
This is, and the applicant is here this evening. Many of you are familiar with Hollowell Avenue. This is Hollowell. Out this way is Horsham Road. So these properties here are all the rear properties of what you see on Horsham Road. So Horsham Road and Hollowell's right there. You come down. This is the current existing house. You can see where this is a subdivision, by the way. It's not a full land development. This is just a subdivision, as they will explain. They are not planning to build this proposed conceptual new home right now. They are only in front of you for subdivision, and they will build, or someone else will build a home in the future sometime. But this is their property right now. This is their existing home. They want to subdivide by this line here. It is impacted by environmental resources here. So this is the conceptual location of a proposed home in the future with a driveway coming down to it. And I will turn it over to the applicant to further present their plan and go over their list of waivers.
Sure. Good evening. Scott Camburn with Erweiler and Walter. I am here with Fran Ambrose, the applicant, the property owner. The applicant is proposing a 2-lot minor residential subdivision of land only. As it was explained, this is the perimeter of the property. Fronts on Hollowell Avenue, existing dwelling, serviced by public water, public sewer, surrounded by paper streets right through here. These are all paper streets that traverse all around this particular area. It's going to be a flag lot, conceptual house, as discussed, new property line, 18-foot wide driveway for the flag lot required by the fire company. We're in receipt of the Township Engineer's review letter dated April 22nd. All items in that letter will comply. They're very minor items regarding fee in lieu ofs and the requirement for legal descriptions. All technical items, drafting items have been addressed. We're requesting 6 waivers from the subdivision land development ordinance. First waiver.
Does everyone, could I just stop you, Scott, a second? Sure. Does everyone have that letter in front of you?
Yes.
Okay.
First waiver, section 198.19.C2N. Requirements to show 400 feet surrounding a subject subdivision. We're showing approximately 100 feet. The Planning Commission and the Township Engineer were in concurrence that this was enough for this minor subdivision.
Yeah, we're fine with that.
Number 2, number 3, and number 4 are all related. It's roadway widening, curbing, and sidewalks along the frontage of Ambrose. Along Hollowell Avenue. There's no sidewalks, widening, or curbing along any of the stretch of Hollowell from here on down. So we're respectfully requesting a waiver from those 3 sections, 31.C3, 34.A1, and 34.B1.
No, I just have a question on this.
Sure.
I mean, there's no sidewalks and things back in that area at all, so for me personally, at least, I don't have a problem with that here. But if they come back in to build a house and maybe things change by the time that happens, do we have the opportunity then to ask for sidewalks?
Yes, or you could also do the, when the time comes, you could do a fee in lieu of too.
Either or can happen. At the time, we can waive that now and still have a second opportunity if they come in with land development.
I don't.
I'm sorry, if they come in with building plans.
Eric is saying no. You'd have to make that a condition now, because once you approve this subdivision, they can build that house without you guys seeing it ever again. So if you,
Okay, then if we do that and make the condition that they have to provide these curbs and sidewalks and things at the time of development, at the time they come in with those plans, do we have the opportunity to waive that?
no, because once you approve this subdivision, it's a single-family home being built on a legally conforming residential lot. It won't go through the land development process. It's just a building permit at that
I
point.
mean, I think there's good reason to let it go today, but if they come back 10 years from now and things have changed, we've missed our opportunity.
The only way 10 years from now you'd have another opportunity is if they wanted to further subdivide. But I don't think they have enough lot area. They can't get another flag lot or anything like that.
And these, my recommendation, I'm sorry.
Are we talking about curbs and sidewalks on Hollowell Road or on the roads that are paper streets that don't yet exist?
Hollowell Avenue.
On Hollowell, thank
Yeah.
you.
My recommendation would just be at the time that they go to build the house, that you put a condition on the plan this evening, a fee in lieu of the sidewalk. The older developments, such as this street and Evergreen Terrace, where Hill, Pine, and Johnson are, and Columbia Avenue and Girard Avenue, they just don't, the avenues, Avenue A, B, and C, they just don't, they were just designed not for sidewalks. So what you've been doing in the past, and when you come up with these small subdivisions, that the people pay a fee in lieu of at the time of construction, instead of putting in a sidewalk. And then you can use that money to make a sidewalk somewhere else in town.
That would be my
Everybody okay with that?
recommendation.
So there'd be a fee in lieu of at the time.
At the time of building a house.
Because there's really no change back there now, it's just a property line change.
Yeah, and what's the fee?
It's $20 per square foot or cubic foot or square foot along the frontage.
I think there's a section in the ordinance regarding the fee in lieu of for sidewalk, if I'm not mistaken.
The approval would be you either put it in or you pay a fee in lieu of.
No, I'm saying, I think, isn't there a section in the ordinance regarding the sidewalk cost?
Yes, it's in our fee resolution.
Right, that's
Yep.
what I meant.
Yes, yep.
I mean, I'm fine with that approach, because I don't think that they need to be doing that back there right now.
No, and it's when they want to go.
Maybe never, but.
Yeah.
You know, who knows what happens 10 years from now.
Yeah, it's the major, when you add in these older neighborhoods that were built so many years ago, not designed for sidewalks, it's such a, as you know, to put curbs, sidewalks, sometimes then storm drainage, but you add it to curbs, it's very, very costly, and then it doesn't match the rest of the neighborhood, and it's just easier. What you have been doing is taking that fee in lieu of, sticking it in the restricted fund to add sidewalks and trails throughout the town elsewhere.
Okay? All right. Then we've been through, which ones here?
Moving on to number
We're
5,
up to street trees.
Yep, okay.
street trees. Requesting a waiver from section 39E4 for street trees along the frontage of Hollowell Avenue. There are several existing trees along the frontage today. Looking for those trees to be counted as,
You guys have given
Existing
that
trees.
waiver in the past when there's other landscaping along the frontage, although it doesn't technically meet the definition of a street tree. It kind of meets the intent of it, so our office has no objection to it.
And are there utility lines along the front of the house?
Fran?
Yes, there are.
Okay, so like, in my opinion, adding street trees there could be detrimental, right?
Yeah.
We always put the street trees so they're
Okay.
not in conflict with the overhead power line.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, so we good with that one? All right, the next one?
Number 6, 198-18 preliminary plan, requesting that the plan be considered a preliminary/final, since it's a minor subdivision and not just a preliminary.
Okay, well, that covers all the waivers. What else do we have to do here, Bill?
That's it. And the solicitor will draw up a resolution for your next meeting on May 14th.
Okay,
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening.
Ready for the next one, Bill?
Yes, sir.
Next, we have to consider a resolution authorizing to submit a local share assessment Commonwealth Financing Authority grant application for the Hideaway Swim Club Stormwater Management and Site Enhancements Project.
And before proceeding, I have a declaration of conflict of interest to read. I, Ellen Chunky, hereby disclose that I have a conflict of interest with regard to matters involving the Hideaway Swim Club and will be unable to participate in any discussion or vote on any issues involving the swim club, including but not limited to the local share assessment Commonwealth Financing Authority grant application, which is on the council agenda this evening. The nature of my conflict of interest is that I am on the board of Hideaway Swim Club. I direct that this disclosure be filed with the minutes of tonight's meeting. Thank you.
So this is a grant application through the DCED and Commonwealth Financing Authority. You see this pretty common. You just did one for the Ukrainian Sports Club out at Lower State and County Line for artificial synthetic turf fields. We've done one for Horsham Soccer Association for their turf field. We did one for the Miracle Field. And our staff also applies for them, Fire Marshal, Police Department. So Hideaway Swim Club's going to take their crack at it and see what they can get. They're going to apply for $550,000 for stormwater management and site enhancements. As you know, you just recognized the swim club a few years back for their 60th anniversary. So they are aging and need some help with some improvements. They did agree, their board did agree to sign that if they are successful in getting funding, the next step with us is to sign that agreement where they take on the project administration and project management of the project with the state. So they agreed to take that on, and that shifts all responsibility to their organization to apply, to follow, and all the contractual requirements for their funding if they are successful. So the staff is recommending to you this evening their application.
And this sub-agreement is the same one we've used in the past for other organizations? And
Yes.
we've been successful with?
Yes.
Questions, comments? Do we have a motion?
I move to adopt the resolution as proposed, authorizing application to the Commonwealth Financing Authority Local Share Assessment Grant Program for the purpose of the Hideaway Swim Club Stormwater Management and Site Enhancements Project.
Second.
Moved and seconded. This is a roll call vote.
Mr. Glenser, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Laff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Wade, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Chunky, how do you vote?
Abstain?
Mr. Whiteside, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Motion passes 401.
Next is to consider the Michael Baker International, Inc. and Gilmore and Associates proposal for engineering services for the Horsham Road widening between Davis Grove Road and Babylon Road.
As council knows, we have two transportation projects going on. One is in the right-of-way phase, Horsham Road and Limekill Pike intersection, and hopefully we will be done right-of-way and out to bid by the end of this year for that project. That project takes us, will take the intersection to 5 lanes from about approximately from about Los Davis Grove Road, where our traffic signal will be added. Then as it comes eastward towards the Township building, it starts to taper down. The bridge is in the engineering phase. This bridge in front of Kohler Park is in engineering phase to widen to 5 lanes with sidewalks on both sides. And then that will leave us this small segment between the bridge improvement and the intersection improvement and Babylon Road and the bridge. And the good news is most of the property is owned by the township. Kohler Park, Carpenter Park, Deep Meadow Park. But that's the next step. And as we know, it just takes forever to get projects done. So we want to keep projects in the pipeline. This evening in front of you for the Michael Baker and Gilmore proposal is $789,590. That's for the engineering for the road widening. Also, the good news is that's all covered by a grant. So it won't be covered by our taxes, local taxes. So that would be the next step. And then I want to say soon, but it could be 2028, 2029, hopefully by 2030. Everything will be improved on Horsham Road from Babylon to the intersection, 5 lanes, flowing a lot better, hopefully. So again, it just takes so long to get these projects done. We just have to keep stuff in the pipeline going. So tonight in front of you is the engineering proposal to start that widening design.
Questions, comments? If not, do we have a motion?
I move to authorize contract with Michael Baker International and Gilmore and Associates in the amount of $789,590 for engineering services for the Horsham Road widening project, Davis Grove to Babylon Road.
Second?
It's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Next, we have to consider the Michael Baker International, Inc. and Gilmore Associates proposal for engineering services for the Norristown Road extension.
So again, keeping things moving and looking towards the future and being proactive. This relates to, the Navy base and Norristown Road through the Navy base out to 611. And as no land has transferred to us yet, but we want to be proactive, just as we've been proactive with all of our transportation improvements around the base, with our expansion of our sewer treatment plant, with public water for the future base, for Hollowell School, which was a school designed to take on kids from the future development of the base. We want to be proactive with roads through the base. And as I mentioned, it just takes so long to get things to construction and completion. We want to get started, and we'd like to get started with the Norristown Road extension from Horsham Road to 611. I do want to clarify, this is just engineering. This is a very expensive project to construct. So, Eric, you're behind me, but I'm guessing $15 to $20 million to construct the road. This is just engineering we're talking about tonight. So for construction, we'll be chasing not only MIRIA funds, state funding, but also federal funding. So, but right now, tonight, it's just engineering. So I don't want anyone to think that we're going to construction in 12 months. We're just going to engineering, being proactive, being ready, moving things along for the future of the community. We don't want to get the land from the Navy, have someone or a developer or company interested in coming and say, oh, okay, now we'll start planning, and now we'll start the design, and now we'll start the engineering. Oh, that would take us 2 or 3 years, and then we'll put it out to bid, and then we'll go to construct. Then we'll lose the interest. So we want to be ready to go when the good news comes. So in front of you tonight is a proposal from Michael Baker and Gilmore in the amount of $995,430, and that again is covered by grants. So no local taxes will be used for this project.
I have a question. How long does the engineering phase of this take? Ish.
Not to put Laura on the spot too, but Michael Baker is out there too.
It's funny because I was going to say, well, this isn't really what I should be answering because Baker's taking the lead in the design. I don't want to throw you under the bus if you don't want to come up and answer. Okay, so you're definitely not going to answer this question.
Oh, come on.
But because Bill said the important thing, federal dollars.
Yeah.
So it has to go through a process that the federal government and PennDOT put together. So it's a little more complicated, as you could imagine, than just doing it a different way. But we have to do it that way if you want to have the opportunity to get federal funds. So we're talking a couple years for the approval. Even though there's no right-of-way acquisition like the intersection, it's just,
Just for the engineering phase, a couple years?
yeah.
What is a
we
couple?
could design it and have it shovel-ready, but we won't get all those approvals from the different PennDOT portions because they just take a while.
Yeah, well, and actually why I was asking was because I was wondering also if there is a timeline with which this engineering plan is good for. Let's say it took 6 months and then the area is not ready to be redeveloped for another 10 years. Would we have to redo it, or does the plan life expectancy extend that long?
I'm not sure about 10 years because you might want to change it if it was that long, right? But the approvals you get are good for a certain period of time, yeah. And you might have to refresh some things if PennDOT or the federal government changes regulations. You know, not that saying this would happen, but PennDOT has changed ADA regulations over time. So a curb ramp that's compliant today might not be compliant tomorrow. So potentially 5 years from now, if they change the curb ramp designs, we might have to redesign just the curb ramps as part of this.
But then it would be like a portion, not necessarily the entire
Yeah, the
cost
whole thing
again.
wouldn't need to be redesigned. No.
Okay, and so are we doing this in a time frame also that we feel, I mean, I know everyone's hoping that the base goes along, right? But if it takes, do we feel like we're hopefully somewhere near where this is relevant to do now versus postponing any longer?
Yeah, I think it is. As we negotiate with the Navy, and those negotiations continue for transfer of property, we are also at the same time negotiating with them for a, and Bill, I might have to ask you to help, REA, real estate. Okay. So they do have a mechanism where even before land's transferred to us, if we get the design done and approved in the engineering and we get construction funding, that they can give us, I would say like it's sort of like an easement for us to construct the road.
To start putting roads through. Okay. I just want to make sure that we're, it's investment that's going to continue, you're not going to have to redo effort, or it's not going to come to fruition anytime. Got it. Okay, that was all.
Hold on.
So yeah, it's exciting. I mean, it's being proactive, and that's what we've always been here in Horsham, is ready to go. We use the I know governors and presidents use the term shovel ready, but we want to be shovel ready when the time comes. We want to be ready to go when there's good news coming our way. Yes.
All right, do we have any more questions or comments on that? If not, do we have a motion?
I move to authorize a contract with Michael Baker International and Gilmore Associates in the amount of $995,000 for $430 for engineering services for the Norristown Road Extension Project.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Next is to introduce an ordinance amending the township zoning ordinance and map as per the approved final preferred land use plan for the former Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base Willow Grove.
This is what you did at your meeting a couple weeks ago, but we wanted to leave ourselves more time to get it to legal advertising, as well as to get legal descriptions for the two zoning districts included in the ordinance. So we are, two things. We're postponing, and we added the legal descriptions, which then changes the ordinance. So that's why you're introducing the newest ordinance this evening. Also want to clarify, because some stuff got out I guess it was on social media from your last meeting, and I'll call the reporter tomorrow to clarify. But there was a lot of it was sort of more misinformation, maybe miscommunication, where when you introduced it the first time, and it got people started putting out like construction was going to be happening in 30 days. And that's not happening. And we want to just clarify and to the people that construction is not happening. We're simply rezoning again to match the reuse plan that was approved. And sometimes we know what's going on, and sometimes we don't. So we also want to put this zoning in place to protect ourselves while we work on other more detailed zoning. And it also shows the Navy good faith. Negotiating with the Navy. The base is all zoned industrial right now. We as residents, and I think you as a council with your vision, you don't want to see warehouse distribution centers up and down 611. So, but also, as I said, as we negotiate with the Navy, it shows them good faith that we're moving forward. As the HLRA continues their negotiations, the township showing its faith and good faith in moving forward, zoning the property as per the reuse plan. We're going to get a lot of information out the next couple of days to just clarify to the residents and citizens to let them know what this is about. And we are not deciding on what is coming, and we are not going to construction in 30 days. That's not happening. But we want to be ready. We want to be ready when good times and when the good times do come. Maybe that could be in 6 months, maybe in 5 years, but we want to be ready. And that's what it's all about, is starting the zoning process per the approved plan.
Okay. Then do we have a motion?
I move. Go ahead. You got it.
I move to introduce the ordinance as proposed, amending the township zoning ordinance and map as per the approved final preferred land use plan for the former Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base, Willow Grove.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. This is a roll call vote.
Mr. Glemster, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Slaff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Wade, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Chunky, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Mr. Whiteside, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, so next we have to choose a time and a place. So we need to consider a resolution establishing a time and a place for a public hearing on the ordinance amending the township zoning ordinance and map as per the final preferred land use plan for the former Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base, Willow Grove, for Wednesday, June the 11th, 2025 at 7:45 p.m. in this auditorium.
Move to adopt the resolution as proposed, establishing a time and place for a public hearing on the ordinance amending the township zoning ordinance and map as per the approved final preferred land use plan for the former Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base, Willow Grove, Wednesday, June 11th, 2025 at 7:45 p.m. in the Horsham Township Municipal Building.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. This is a roll call vote.
Mr. Glemster, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Slaff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Wade, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Ms. Chunky, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Mr. Whiteside, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right. Do we have any additional business?
No, sir.
If not, then I need to announce that our next council meeting will be Wednesday, May the 14th, 2025 at 8 p.m. in this auditorium. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.